Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. This video will be very interesting and informative because if you are a person who are using UPI transaction on your daily routine, so then you should watch this video completely till the end, because in this video I'll be going to explain what are the new changes, new rules has come while using your UPI transactions. There are several rules which has affected from August 1st. So I'm going to compare the new rules with the old rules, and I'll give you example to make you understand. And also I will tell you on what sector, how that will affect our routine transactions. So watch this video completely, and share this video as much as possible to your friends or your family, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to get latest updates on such new trending topics and also job related notification videos. So let us start our video. The first rule, what it says, it is a balance inquiry limit. Now, according to old rule, the unlimited balance checks were allowed on UPI app like phonepe, GPA, paytm and BMAP. Whereas a new rule, what it says is maximum 50 balance checks per app per day. So you can't continuously check your balance more than 50 times. So it is limited to 50 balance checks per day. So why it is used? What is the use of this rule? Because users were refreshing balance repeatedly, which overloads npci UPI server and caused slowness in transaction during the peak hours. So since it is causes the slowness in the transaction during the peak hours, the limited maximum balance check limit is 50 balance checks per day. Example, so imagine you are the person who used to check your balance more than 60 times on the day. So first 50 checks it works normally, but after 50 checks it will shows the error message as say limit reached or some other warning messages. So whom will get affected? Normal users like us, we will not get any effect, but merchants and heavy users, they need to reduce unnecessary balance refreshes. This is your rule 1. The rule 2 is linked account view limit. So old rule, what it says is you could open your UPI app and refresh all linked bank accounts unlimited times. But the new rules, they limited to 20 times per app per day. So if you are checking your bank accounts, and you can refresh that only 20 times per day. So why? Because many fintech apps, many loan related apps, where in background continuously they will poll npci servers frequently to fetch account information, to fetch your account information, which slows down the UPI system. To avoid that, they have limited to 25 times per app per day. Keep note on your balance instead of repeatedly checking accounts. Apps that auto refresh balance will need to optimize background request. So normally what we'll do, we used to give consent to apps to make auto refresh in the background. So we have to optimize that applications. Now example is that if you open a bank account and if you refresh it 30 times per day, in that after 25 times it will give an error message showing that limit reached or some other message. Rules 3, what it says, transaction state check limit. So according to old rule, there was no limit on how many times you check the status of the pending transaction. Some user kept refreshing status continuously if UPI was slow. But according to new rule, only 3 status checks per day per transaction with 90 seconds gap between the attempts. This is the new rules. Okay, so you can check your status only 3 times, that is transaction status only 3 times. That also between there is a 90-second gap. There should be a 90-second gap in between the attempts. Why? Because continuous status polling increases network congestion and delays transaction confirmation. So when you continuously check the status of the transaction, it increases the load. To reduce that, they have limited to only 3 status checks per day. The example, so imagine you are sending 1000 rupees your friend and the UPI shows pending. So what you will do, you will check the status as a pending first time. After that you have to wait for 90 seconds, then only you can check the status again. Again if shows the pending, again you have to wait for 90 seconds, and so now it became a 3 times. Again if you try to check the status, then it will show some error. So that is the meaning of this rule. So you have to check only 3 times per day per app, and there should be 90-second gap between the attempts. Okay, so that is your rule number 3. And the next rule is autopay mandate timing. So according to old rule, auto debit for EMI subscription, OTTs, SIPs could run anytime 24/7. But according to new rule, autopay mandate now execute in scheduled non-peak slots to reduce server load. So now it will not run 24/7. It will schedule only non-peak slots to server overload. So and it will take only maximum 3 tries if the payment fails due to bank or network issues. Okay, so now why? Because large volumes of auto debit like SIPs at 8 a.m. used to jam UPI servers. So these auto debits will jam the UPI server, and also npci is spreading load to non-peak hours for smooth operation. Okay, so to reduce the load, they are spreading the load to non-peak hours. Now example, say you have a Netflix subscription which is auto debit is on due on is 5th, and npci which can schedule at 11 p.m. instead of 9 a.m. which is a peak time. So if 11 p.m. is a non-peak time, so npci it will schedule the auto debit at the 11 p.m. instead of 9 a.m. So it will take 2 attempts or 2 retries if or 3 retries if there is any failure in the auto debit due to bank or network. So then who will get affected? You may see auto debit in a happens in unusual hours, but your subscription will be safe. Banks and apps will notify you about successful debits. The next rule is API usage limit for apps. So the old rule, UPI apps could make unlimited API calls to npci server for balance, account view, transaction status, etc. So they have a unlimited access to make API calls to npci server for balance, account view, transaction status, etc. But according to new rule, only top 10 high frequency APIs like balance inquiry, fetch account are now rate limited as per PSP apps. Okay, so now this is especially when it comes to writing a code or a software specific rule. That is that, so initially there was a lot of API calls which is going to npci server. So they are limited to only top 10 high frequency APIs like balance inquiries, fetch accounts, and auto pays. So these are only 10 high frequency APIs that will get full access to unlimited API full access to make API calls to npci. Now why? To avoid system overload and prevent downtime caused by over aggressive apps. So because any unnecessary API calls to npci which may overloads the server, so to reduce that this rule is used. Now example, so earlier a wallet app could ping npci server 10,000 times per minute, but now npci allows only fixed quota per app, and any excess trigger will gives an error. Okay, so the effect, some apps may show delayed updates if many users are active simultaneously. Developer must implement the retries and caching instead of continuous request. So it comes more related to developer end. He should take care of implementing API calls to npci. Okay, the next rule, beneficiary name display before payment confirmation. Okay, so now according to old rules, some app directly allowed UPI pin entry, and you only see their name after payment in some cases, correct? So when we make a payment only, we'll come to know, it will shows the a message that a successful transaction is successful to so and so customer. But according to new rule, now app must show the recipient name, UPI ID and transaction ID before confirming a payment. So when you give a confirm only, the payment should happen. Now why? To reduce a wrong transaction and UPI scams where a fraudsters tricks user with similar IDs. To reduce the frauds or scams, so this rule is introduced. So example, if you have, say, if you type Rajesh 123 at UPI, so app shows paying Rajesh Kumar and the last digits of a number, and you should press confirm. Okay, so like this, you should press confirm, then only payment will execute. So safer transaction and fewer accidental transfers, extra 1 to 2 seconds before final confirmation. Okay, so next, seventh rule is penalties and temporary restrictions for violation. Okay, now what old rule says it? No specific penalties for excessive bank usage, checks or API calls. Before it was not there, correct? So there was unlimited API calls, you can use unlimited balance inquiry, account inquiry, everything was unlimited. But now apps or users violating limits may face temporary blocks. If you cross the limit, there will be temporary block in the transaction, API restriction, onboarding delays for new users. So why? To enforce discipline and keep UPI stable for 400 million plus users. Okay, so for that reasons they have implemented these seven rules. Okay, so now these are the rules they have implemented, and it was got affected from after August 1st. So we must know all these rules before we are trying to use our UPI. I hope I made you people understand how to use what are the new rules which affected from August 1st. If you think this video is useful, press a like button and also share this video to your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Let us meet in new video. Thank you.